kind of all feels like a dream. It's a bit surreal at the moment. We're about to get on the road, head back to Charleston. It's about a 6-hour drive, give or take. We're going to have a few fuel stops, so no doubt it'll take 8 hours. And we've got to herd all the cats, so it's going to be a while. Every time we stop for lunch, it'll be a 20-minute discussion on what we should have for lunch, even though there's only one restaurant to go to. So
I've got an Akuba for that, mate.
Can't wait for that. Big hat, lots of cats.
Yeah.
Sick. Let's get on the road. Don't leave him in charge of the head count, because we've still got one person short. No, I'm like, we're all ready to go. And Benny's like, yeah, we're all ready to go.
Gus, huh?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Gus.
Okay. Where is Gus?
I wasn't too fast.
Gus has missed his...
No Gus, no fuss.
He's missed his front seat, put it that way.
We almost left with the action, mate.
Cats, and then we realised you weren't here. We just about to drive off.
Nice bagel, mate.
Yeah, shoot up.
What time's the cruise today?
10 past now. See how good my quick maths are.
Quick math. Did you get the quick math?
Well, it's not in the boot, so I did alright. Probably could have put I probably could have put $40 in it. But, we're getting it. It's all over. We're here at Charleston Performance Solutions. This is where it all began, in this very car park. So today the game plan is to unpack the trailer, pack all of our shipping crates, and also pack our shipping crates that are actually going back to Hughes. So Pete, the legend over at Hughes, he's picked up a couple of engines. We brought them over for him. He's got an RB30 and a Barra. So we're going to pack all that up and organise all that and try and get it sorted at a reasonable time today, so we can just have a bit more of a chilled out day tomorrow and just hang out with everyone and sort of just try and have a bit of social time. But yeah, we're just waiting for the dudes to rock up. We are a bit early. I always like to be on time or early rather than them waiting for us, so it's going to be a good day. Going to be lots of mess, and we've also got the compounding issue of our fire extinguisher went off in the trailer last night, so that's going to be fun to clean that stuff up because it's horrible at the best of times, and then being in a confined space, I can't wait for it. So fingers crossed no one dies today.
Who do we blame that one on, Phil?
Me.
Gravity, I think.
Gravity?
Pretty sure it was gravity.
Let's blame it on gravity.
It's acidic as hell too, so we need to get off stuff like wheels and
Real corrosive.
yeah, especially when you mix it with water, it just sort of activates it even better.
This one time I was at TAFE and there was a fire, and the teacher got the extinguisher out and covered my crown in extinguisher dust, and then he washed it off with the hose. And then
now
I was
it's got
told,
rust in the roof.
and then I was told exactly the same thing, how corrosive it was. That's the culprit, Phil.
That's the culprit.
Good morning, chicken.
up, buddy?
He loves it. Can you do that to me now? Ooh, ooh. Ah!
Contact him. Get you to contact him.
Now I see where you get the hot pants from, Benny. Bro.
Yeah.
I say bro a lot.
I know, they said in the comments they don't like us saying bro.
Bro? Yeah,
I think
bro.
it has a different kind of connection in Australia. It's like mate. Whereas in America it's like, what do they call the groups of dudes that have flat brims and drink Monster Energies all the time? Is it Kyles?
Yeah,
I think in America it's like, oh, all the Kyles say bro. But in Australia it's tied to a different group of people. It's more just like
I just say
an affectionate term for your mate.
I say bro because Alan says bro a lot, and I hang out with Alan a lot.
I know, we all hang out with Alan a lot, and that's a good thing.
It is a good thing. Apparently there's never been a Rotary to attempt Drag Week.
Yeah, 'cause
Apparently.
it's not called Drag Pass, it's called
Yeah.
Drag Week.
Maybe Ethel and Hop should bring over the KE.
Yeah, Ethel came this year. Oh wait, that's
Oh.
right.
Oh wait. Oh zing, hey Chris.
Zingers. Yeah, so this is an RB30 out of a VL Commodore. It's almost identical to one out of a R31 Skyline. Nissan also used these in forklifts a fair bit.
And patrols?
And patrols, yeah. So they were in, realistically it's an industrial commercial engine, but for whatever reason they started using them in cars in Australia. To my knowledge, this was never put in a car at all in Japan. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments I'm wrong, so I want VINs and makes and models and all sorts of information if you're going to tell me I'm wrong. But this has an actual Holden rocker cover on it, or valve cover. So when Pete asked me to find him an RB30, I thought it'd be cool to find one actually out of a Commodore, just for the difference of the rocker cover. This one's actually from a mate of mine. He had it in, ironically, in an R31 Skyline, and then had a turbo on it. And I think it's done a head gasket, but for what Pete wants it for, it's not going to matter. So he's going to build it up and put it into, actually I'm not going to say what he's going to put it into because it might be a surprise, so I don't want to ruin it. But the barra next to it's also his. And interestingly, you also notice that the RB30 still has a cylinder head on it, but all these barras have them off it. Basically, because of the age of the engine, this thing's allowed to be imported into America complete. But because of the age of the barras, they all have to be imported as parts. So that means moving cylinder heads in as much as you can to make it not a complete running engine. So we've stripped these down pretty hard, and then packed all the cylinder heads separately, and then packed all the timing cases separately and stuff.
You're a gun with the packaging, Benny, I must say. I mean, it's not like you do this for a business or anything, but...
Yeah, it's not like I do it all the time. But yeah, we made the crate so that nothing got damaged. I mean, it's a pretty big undertaking to ship this stuff halfway around the world, especially because some of this stuff was for customers, some of it was for friends, so I didn't want any of this stuff turning up damaged or broken because there's no way to replace it easily. So we actually spent like a solid day and a half making the crate, because this crate, you guys would have seen it earlier, the top actually lifts off it, the top's just over there. So it's all made out of pretty heavy gauge steel so that it doesn't break, and it's also made to a certain size so that it actually fits in the
Is
container
there like
with the
insert
Cresta.
Benny's Custom Works number right here or something, or you
No.
don't want that?
No,
Don't call me.
I'm not sending more barrows to America, sorry. It's too much effort. There's plenty of people doing it. But if you are going to buy a barrow in America, A, buy one that's here. Don't do pre-orders because half of them are probably scams. And yeah, B, if you get one that's here, it's probably going to have the cylinder head off it. If it doesn't have the cylinder head off it, it actually hasn't been imported legally. So there may be ramifications later down the track. And yeah, going back to the pre-order thing, a lot of the guys that are doing pre-orders don't know what they're doing as far as importing stuff correctly. So everyone's basically just trying to get rich quick. It's a lot there's a lot of dudes out there doing it properly, but they're all starting to pop up now, trying to do some get rich quick. You pay me up front and see your engine in 6 months type deal.
Sounds
So
like a pyramid scheme.
pretty much a pyramid, but it's only 1 point on it.
I will say, if you're gonna do a barra conversion in the States, don't bother with a wrecker motor, and that's just pay for a built one and get it sent over.
Well, yes and no. There's companies in America now building them here.
Well, that's good.
So I would...
Shut up!
Just ruined the audio, bruh. Yeah, I would recommend to build one regardless of where you're going to build it. Either buy a built engine from Australia or build one here. But what I wouldn't recommend is trying to make 400 or 500 horsepower out of a standard non-turbo one, for the reason that, not that it won't do it, but it will do it, but not forever. So you've invested all the money into bringing the engine over, setting your car up for it. If you break the block or the head or both, you're going to be waiting 3 to 6 months to get a replacement engine. And yeah, it's not going to be a good time. Until these things are readily available at a reasonable price in America, I wouldn't even bother trying to turbo or non-turbo engine, because it is going to fail. Like you're
going to have a bad time.
You're going to have a bad time. I mean, look at us. We came all the way around here and broke stuff, and luckily, because we had A, a good plan, and B, a lot of support, we ended up getting both the cars running again. And it was just freak stuff that went wrong. Like my engine dropped a valve. I've never seen that happen before. And then Benny's car did a big end. We're still yet to determine how and why that happened. But it is something we'll go into later. We'll tear that engine down, probably with Omar. So we're gonna harvest as many good bits out of it as we can today, because I want to actually take them home and start building an engine before the Cresta arrives. We'll probably end up just pulling out like the cams and whatever else is easy to pull out. There's already a box of bits like the timing chain and the timing chain tensioner, and I think there's some other bits and pieces that we've already pulled out of that engine. So we'll probably try and get as much of that home as we can, so that we can rebuild another engine, so that we can get the car ready for drag challenge.
Hell yeah.
The engine in the Cresta is still running, but I don't really want to do a drag challenge event on that engine without at least pulling it apart.
I'm sure there's already plenty of comments about it being noisy. So
yeah, it is noisy in the top end. We think, speaking to Omar, we think it's probably got a lifter problem. The good engine that we were supposed to run this week actually has aftermarket lifters that are heavy duty, whereas the engine that ended up back in the car actually has a completely standard non-turbo head, apart from the valve springs. So the valves are original, the cams are original. We had to go back to variable cam timing in that setup as well. So it's even the tune's different. Like we kind of cobbled together a tune with Scotty's help from Haltech, and it probably wasn't perfect for what we needed, but it got it done.
And Zane from Max.
Yeah, Zane also helped us out at Max. We ended up doing a bit of road tuning and making it even more conservative than it already was. So we didn't want to. After killing the first engine, it was a survival aspect, not a try and set the world on fire. Like I came into this with a goal of running like 850s every day, and after dropping that valve, we were pretty concerned we weren't going to run any times at all. So with Zane's help and with Scotty's help, we ended up getting a tune together that'd work in the car enough to actually run 861, which is
epic.
Nearly half a second quicker than what that engine's ever gone before. Anyone that's watched our drag challenge videos that are all out now, that's the same engine we did that 901 on, and did like 30 passes in a row on day 3. So that engine hasn't actually been touched since drag challenge. It came out of the car, we put the new engine in, and so that engine's got quite a lot of passes on it now. So
enough talk about Barras. What's happening with the Windsor? Where is that actually?
Yeah, the Windsor out of Benny's Mustang's coming home with us.
Is that all with all this stuff over there too?
It's actually got stuff heaped on top of it at the moment. It's in camouflage so that no one steals it. So not that anyone's steal it here.
Don't want that boat anchor going anywhere.
I'm just taking the piss. But yeah, it's going to come home, and my game plan with that is to actually tear it down and do. It's a totally running car, but I don't want to put it in a car or sell it to someone without A, knowing exactly what's in it, and B, giving it a freshen up. So we may even actually do that with Omar as well. Pull it down, put some rings and bearings in it, put new head gaskets in it, check it out, and actually catalogue what parts are in it. So we've been given a rough idea of what's in it. Like it's supposed to be a 408 cube,
but you never know.
Which is based on a 351 block. From what we can tell, it's actually a Ford block, not an aftermarket block. But it's got really good heads on it. It's got a Edelbrock manifold on it. It's got MSD, all these kind of archaic things that I've got no idea about. But I'm pretty keen to pull it down and have a look at it because I haven't done it before. So yeah, we'll do it either with Omar or maybe even with Paulie, just because Paulie's 5 minutes from the shop.
Paulie's a legend.
Yeah, so it'd be cool to get Paulie
in
on the
Paulie.
Windsor action. So Paulie's a bit of a Windsor pro as well. So we'll tear it down and have a look at it. I'm pretty keen to do that. But enough talking, we're going to get back to packing.
I need to turn that fan back on.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Let's go. while Woody was off dropping off the U-Hauls with the boys, we made a pretty solid effort and got our big crate packed. So this, coming over here, this had all the barrows in it. But now going home, it's got the original small block Ford, the Windsor engine that came out of the Mustang right at the bottom. And then we've basically just got everything that was in the Cresta to come over. So we've got the toolbox, all the wheels and tires, all the tools, all the spares. So going home, the Cresta's only gonna have like 2 bags of stuff in it, as opposed to being completely chock full of stuff. I guess the downside of that is this crate's probably gonna weigh about a ton. Not too bad of a drum for us, but we'll just have to make sure that it's loaded correctly when we take it to the docks. We'll just have to work out, I'd say this end will be heavier, but in saying that, it's got the toolbox right at this end, so it may end up being pretty weight neutral. So we'll chuck the lid on it now and then chuck some screws in it, and then we move on to the second crate to pack, which is actually going to Hughes Performance. You know what that is, Woody? It's a crate design.
Oh,
Well, the Cresta journey is nearly over for 2019. We're just packing up here at CPS. It's Sunday afternoon, about 5 o'clock. We've got both the crates packed. We've pretty much got the car sorted. We're actually driving that away tonight to the accommodation and we're coming back in the morning. But tomorrow is the day we actually take it back to the port. So they'll hopefully get it in the container this week, and then we'll get it back to Australia as soon as we can. And potentially we'll be on another adventure sooner than you know. So again, big shout out to the guys at CPS for helping us out. They've done everything from just handling goods for us, receiving packages, storing Benny's Mustang, to just all the little runaround stuff, ordering parts for us while we've been here, putting it on their account for us, and it's just been awesome. Those guys are a massive help. If you're down in Charleston, definitely recommend checking it out. They're cool dudes, they're happy to have a chat. And if you actually want work done, they do anything and everything performance-wise. So they've got anything from Mitsubishi Eclipse right behind Woody, to Civics, to GMC trucks. And they also do a lot of LS conversions and things like that. And they do have some barrows they're going to play with. So potentially down the track, they'll be the go-to barrow guys in South Carolina and possibly on the East Coast. So highly recommend seeing these guys. They're really nice dudes, genuine guys, and they'll look after you. So thanks again to CPS, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at the port. This is it, man. We're packing up. It's our final day in Charleston. We're loading everything up. We've got a few little loose items to put in the Cresta. We've actually packed all the stuff that was in the Cresta coming over into the big crate because we don't have any barrows in there anymore. We do have a Windsor in there out of Benny's Mustang, so stay tuned for what's going to happen with that a bit later. But we're packing everything in the car, then we're going to take the car and our big crate down to Tri-State. And the small crate that's actually sitting there is going to Pete from Hughes Transmissions. And Pete will probably fill you in on what's in that crate at a later date as well. So stay tuned for fun times all around. that's the drag week adventure over. There's a ton of people we need to thank that have actually helped us get to this point. Without their generous contribution, we wouldn't be here at all. So yeah, I'd really like to thank Wix, Spares Box, SP Tools, Hughes Performance, Empire Mechanical, Hypertune, GFB, Haltech, Spy Optic, Newlon, Spool Imports, Classic and Muscle Imports, as well as Tri-State Warehousing, who have helped us actually get the Cresta to and from Australia. My friends and family for all their support back home. Alan, my dad, Woody, those guys have backed me the whole way, and there's going to be an awesome production that you guys will be watching to this point. So thanks to all those guys for the help. Also thanks to Gian for editing the whole thing. I know it's a massive undertaking to cut through probably a terabyte plus of footage that we're going to take home. Nth Degree Fabrication, they helped us out with little bits both on this and the Mustang this year. HED, those guys saved our asses with the Mustang as well. They threw their doors open, let us use the shop. And also to Robbie Abbott, who was a big backer on that as well. He organised HED for us, and he helped us actually assemble the engines. He did all the critical stuff. We're not engine builders, so he did all the finicky stuff that's actually going to matter. Also Biggins, those guys chucked their doors open for us, put on food while we were fixing the Mustang, and they're just such awesome guys. It's such a great car community in America in general, but in North and South Carolina, it's just, the hospitality's next level. Yeah, we just can't thank any of those guys enough. Also, thanks to all you guys for watching the videos and supporting us. Thanks to our Patreons, and thanks to everyone that's bought a shirt along the way. The shirts literally paid our fuel bill for the last 2 weeks, so anyone that's bought a shirt has 100% contributed to this trip. So thanks everyone for their support, and we'll see you guys on the next big adventure.